This is my first podcast, and it's about audio quality using Zoom. Now, of course, you wouldn't stand in the middle of an intersection and do a podcast because of the background noise. I thought maybe here at the Primmersfield Migratory Waterfowl Refuge, I'd find the magic that I need. But it just happens right in the middle of fall migration, and the sandhill cranes have arrived by the thousands. I'm standing here in the middle of tundra, surrounded by millions of quiet little cranberries, and yet I still hear an airplane up above. Finding a quiet place is turning into a real challenge. Hey, outer space seems like it might be a pretty quiet place, but since we can't live there, we have to do our recordings here on Earth. Background noise is everywhere, and because it's everywhere, we tend to just kind of tune it out. We don't hear it anymore. Background noise could be the sound of an air conditioner turning on and off, the refrigerator kicking in, the sound of a clock ticking, the sound of your desk creaking or your chair creaking. There are all sorts of background noises that are there. It's time to listen to them. One way to listen to these sounds and hear them for the first time is close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just listen for the first time. Okay, let's talk about microphone quality. First microphone I want to talk about is this little bugger. It's a lavalier microphone, and they're great. They're portable. They have proximity to your voice, and they're not very expensive. Lavalier mics are great. This one has a little windsock on it. I'll talk about windsocks a little bit more. Well, let's talk about them right now. This microphone comes with a windsock. And this windsock reduces, wind, but it can also reduce that popping sound that we make sometimes when we're talking and we pop our sounds out, or you can even reduce some of that gurgling sound that goes on in our mouth when we're trying to record. Windsocks are great. This guy is on my camera when I'm doing wildlife photography, wildlife video, and of course there's wind out there when I'm photographing wildlife video. My best quality microphone is this studio microphone. It's a condenser microphone. It's a little expensive, but it sits on the tabletop, and the quality is just great. So if you really want some high-end audio quality in your Zoom communication, use a desktop microphone, a condenser microphone. Finally, for portability, and if you're just doing audio, this little tape recorder is good. It'll take an external microphone if you want. But again, I loaned this to some people who were doing some audio work, and they held it like this to do their audio recording. And every time their mouth gurgled or every time they popped their P's, it just burst into the sound. And so if you use a microphone without a windsock, place it below your chin, and that will reduce the P popping. I have one other microphone, I suppose, I'll tell you about, and that is, this is my karaoke mic. And it's not a very high quality mic, and it doesn't have to be high quality for karaoke, but it is just kind of a basic microphone. It captures sound from all distances. It's lightweight, and it's handheld. And so those are 5 different kinds of microphones that you can consider for audio quality. Well, let's talk about audio quality with respect to bandwidth. Bandwidth is the amount of information that you receive every second. At work, you probably have good, strong internet bandwidth, and at home, maybe not so much. Video bandwidth takes up more bandwidth than the audio stream does. Video applications usually prioritize the audio stream over the video stream. That's because if the audio stream starts to get halting, you're not likely to understand what's going on unless you're a lip reader, and most of us are not. So if you're experiencing low quality because of bandwidth, There are two things you can do about it. The first is, of course, you can turn off your camera in Zoom. Just click on the little icon. It'll put an X through it, and your audio quality should instantly increase. And the other thing that you can do here is go to your settings and deselect HD quality, high definition quality video. Your video quality will go down, but you'll use less bandwidth, and that may just solve your bandwidth problem. And here are just some final tips about working with microphones. One, hand-holding a microphone. Keep it at a constant distance from you, and don't turn your head away from the microphone. Lock the microphone in your arm and turn left and turn right when using a hand-filled microphone. And finally, don't put a death grip on that microphone, and don't move your fingers around, because that will cause a kind of a scratchy, rustling sound to be picked up by the microphone. And with a lavalier microphone, many professionals recommend that you use double-sided tape to connect it, to adhere it to your clothing. That way, there's no rustling sound on the clothing. And after a great podcast, do not drop the microphone. It's expensive. And with that, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast and learned a tip or two about audio quality with respect to Zooming. I'm Eric Muehling.